I'm going to be showing you how to make gluten-free sweet and sour chicken. This is an absolute classic Chinese takeaway dish which is really hard to find gluten-free, and it's really easy to make at home. The first thing you need to do is make your batter. I'm using gluten-free plain flour, I'm using a bit of baking powder and some salt, and then we're going to crack in an egg. And finally, for this batter, I'm going to add some cold water. Make sure it's nice and cold. All the quantities and the written recipe is linked in the description down below, so make sure you check that out for the full recipe. Now I'm going to make sure I give this a really good whisk so that there is no lumps, and then we're simply going to pop some diced chicken into a bowl or dish and pour over the batter. Now don't worry if it looks quite thin, because this will thicken as we leave it to stand. And we're going to leave this while we heat up our oil. So you want to half fill a saucepan with vegetable oil or something else neutral without a strong flavour, and we're going to heat it up. I use a food thermometer, and I will link in the description down below to the one that I use. And when it's hot enough, I'm going to add the chicken pieces. Now I'm going to do this in batches, frying about 4 or 5 pieces at a time, because otherwise they'll all clump together and it will just be a disaster with a giant chicken ball, which is not what we want. So I'm just going to keep doing it in batches, and when they have reached a nice golden brown colour and they're cooked through, I'm just going to pop them on a bowl with some kitchen towel to drain off any excess oil. And we're simply going to keep repeating this until all of the chicken is fried and golden, and then I'm going to set that to one side whilst I make the sauce. Now to make the sauce, I'm going to add some gluten-free tamari, which is our gluten-free version of soy sauce. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar if you don't have this. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. And this is what gives us our sweet and our sour flavours. And then this is the juice from a tin of pineapple chunks, which I'm also going to add some chunks of pineapple later on. And then I'm going to add some garlic in. You can omit this if you can't really tolerate garlic, but obviously I love putting garlic in everything. And finally I'm adding in some tomato ketchup, which sounds a bit random, but it's what gives it a lovely, vibrant red colour that you get from the Chinese takeaway. And then I'm just going to add in a slurry of cornflour, which is basically cornflour mixed with a bit of cold water. Now this will make your sauce look less vibrant, and it will look really runny, and you might be a bit confused about what is going on here, but trust me, as soon as this heats up, the cornflour will thicken the sauce and it will just be perfect. So trust me on this, give it a really good mix, and then it's time to finally put this dish together and watch the magic happen. So I've roughly chopped up an onion, a green pepper and a red pepper, which I think just adds a really nice crunch to the dish, but also it just gives it some lovely pops of colour. Now you can add whatever veg you like, but this is my chosen favourites. And I'm going to stir fry this. Ideally you do it in a wok, but I don't have one, so I'm using a frying pan, just until it softens a little but is still nice and crunchy. And then I'm going to pour in the sauce, and like I said, it's not looking too vibrant at the moment, but just watch as I pour it in and it starts to heat up and come to the boil. You'll see that it actually thickens up and it loses that kind of creamy floury colour and becomes a lot more red, which is just how we want it. Once this is thickened up nicely, it's then time to add the chicken in. Now the chicken should have drained off all the excess oil, and I'm just going to pour that straight in. Now with this, you want to make sure you give it a really good stir so everything's coated, and of course you can add some chunks of pineapple if you like as well. I think they give the dish a really nice taste, but some people don't like it. And then stir it up nicely, and then we want to serve this as quickly as possible, because otherwise the chicken can go a bit soft, so I recommend making this and serving it straight away. Once it's all coated and hot through, simply plate it up with some fried rice or anything you fancy on the side, like gluten-free prawn toast, maybe prawn crackers, and there you have it, my gluten-free sweet and sour chicken. Make sure you hit subscribe for more recipes like this, and I'll see you again very soon.